Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Captain Frost and this is update for official hardcore World of Warcraft servers. It's 28th of June and they are confirmed, and there is a list of rules that we have officially. So rules of engagement, classic hardcore is coming to World of Warcraft. Here's they're basically confirming it, and hardcore rule set overview. Death on hardcore realm is permanent on that realm. That means if you die, you wouldn't be able to resurrect. Shaman reincarnation or Warlock Soulstone wouldn't work on you as well, which is quite logical. You will continue to exist in the game world as a ghost, for communication with in-game friends or resolving problems such as guild leadership. And then one of the biggest wins for World of Warcraft and Blizzard team, your character is not necessarily lost if you die. However, after dying on a hardcore realm, player will be able to choose to utilize the free character move service and move their dead character to a non-hardcore classic era realm. Once the move is complete to the non-hardcore realm, the character may resurrect as normal, but the way back to a hardcore realm will be close to them, which is just a fantastic decision. Many people will try out hardcore classic just because of this, because if they want to create a new character anyways, and they will be encouraged to do that and try hardcore classic, and then they may like it to the point that they wouldn't even want to return to normal servers even if their character will die. And for those who maybe leveled their character to level 50 or 55 or 60 and they've put all that hard time into their character, and then they just want to experience the rest of the game, or just continue journey on their character that they became in love with, I guess, then they can do that as well. And that is just very cool. Now, PvP flagging and you. Players will no longer be automatically flagged for PvP upon attacking another player. To flag yourself for PvP, you must type the command /PvP. You wouldn't be able to take hostile actions against a flagged enemy player unless you flag yourself deliberately. So this is to make so much less grief in the world. So this is just as well big win for Blizzard. This is very good, basically you wouldn't be tricked in many situations. You couldn't AoE the enemy by an accident, and it is important to note that attacking an enemy faction NPC will still flag you even if you haven't typed /PvP, so steer clear of settlements of the opposing factions. So that's it. Then PvP Battlegrounds and Warfare. PvP Battlegrounds are completely disabled, as are all PvP Battle Masters. You may still enter pre-made wargames, but you may not gain honor or reputation from wargames. While PvP is a fun part of World of Warcraft, by allowing players to enter Battlegrounds on one live character, there is a concern that this would lead to overly defensive play, often to the point of non-participation, especially when you consider how powerful some rewards are from factions such as Stormpike Guard and the Frostwolf clan. PvP is not the focus of the hardcore game mode, so we've decided to disable normal queuing entirely. If you wish to test yourself in pre-arranged wargames, however, it's an option, but you will still die permanently in there. Now, PvP and quest updates. Various quests and objectives that cause players to become PvP flagged, such as quest The Attack and The Missing Diplomat, no longer cause players to become flagged for PvP. These quests were never strictly meant to flag you for PvP, but this was a result of how the creatures were set up in the... So basically, some quests that require you to do that don't do that anymore. Various quests and objectives that require the player to die to complete or initiate the quest or objective may now be completed without the player's demise. While these quests are iconic and flavorful, the requirements of the character to be in a state of death is obviously problematic on a hardcore realm. As a result, we've designed new ways to complete these quests without requiring your character to die or be dead to complete them. Many quests that require escorting NPC targets have been adjusted in such a way that most escort-related NPCs may no longer be attacked by players of the opposing faction. Many quest-related NPCs, particularly at low level, are very easily killed, and there is very little counterplay to a higher level player of the opposing faction running up, killing your escort NPC and running away. This is a vector for gameplay disruption that we don't feel has a place in the game, nor does it add anything meaningful to normal PvP combat. Now, danger are unleashed. Most creatures will leash and reset when leaving the area or zone they were engaged in. Yeah, which means that no big mobs, big elites, and raid bosses in Stormwind, or yeah, as you can see, Wandering Devil Source in Thousand Needles. So they will automatically just straight up disaggro whenever they are leaving their zone, or yeah, their area, and that is very good as well. Anti-grief mechanics, as much and as many of them as possible, will be good. Dungeons on the clock. All dungeons have at least a 24-hour lockout timer for players below level 60. And this is pretty in the spirit of hardcore World of Warcraft add-on as well, where you can only complete them once or something like that. There are some restrictions. Here we have more adequate counter to trying to level through the dungeons only, dungeon spam, dungeon grind, boosting as well. May not be the case, but yeah, maybe for players level 60. But yeah. Still, again, pretty good change, even though without some of Iron Man solo self-found rules, it wouldn't be as effective. Yeah, so it's still a good measure for you to not at least group up and dungeon grind. Yeah, and it's about, and again, it's about an open world, and here it says higher level characters, power leveling, lower level characters are not something that we feel is appropriate for WoW Classic Hardcore. Additionally, we've carried over the group experience restrictions from Season of Mastery, meaning that players that are significantly higher level than the creatures in a given dungeon will cause those creatures to grant trivial experience to the other members of the group. And only level 60s. By extension, this also means that level 60 players may never enter lower level dungeons with players below level 60 for any reason. Oh yeah, so maybe let's read more. We do recognize that there are many ways that there may be a desire to run a dungeon while leveling multiple times, such as to finish a quest or get an important piece of loot. As a result, we've added a 24-hour timer to almost all dungeons for players until they hit level 60. By extension, this also means that level 60 players may never enter lower level dungeons with players below level 60 for any reason. Yeah, so this is time and dungeon, yeah, spirit to what hardcore is about. So yeah, that's basically it when it comes to dungeons. Pretty healthy changes as well. To buff or debuff, the 16 debuff limit and 32 buff limits have been removed on hardcore realms. The buff and buff limits were originally a technical limitation and was not a conscious design choice at the time. This aspect of the original release maintained for the release of WoW Classic in 2019 for authenticity, but this has always been a contentious part of WoW and places significant constraints on build and class diversity. As a result, we will be removing the limitation in hardcore realms and effectively uncapping buffs and debuffs, which is again pretty good. A bubble hearth no more. Paladins will not be able to use their hearthstone while under the effects of Blessing Protection, Divine Protection, or Divine Shield. So yeah, it's iconic, but it's not really fair. As a result, we are removing the ability for paladins to use their various immunity abilities to safely hearth out. A duel to death. A new feature has been added to hardcore realms, duel to the death. To issue a duel to the death, you'll need to right click and request a duel to the death from the context menu. It can also be triggered by selecting the target and typing Makgora in your chat window. Before commencing combat, both parties must read and acknowledge a warning issue, and I agree to begin. As one may expect, death in a duel to death is permanent, just like any other death on hardcore realms. We feel that this is going to be an extremely exciting addition to hardcore realms for those who like to play at the highest possible stakes and those who wish to spectate such contests of honor. Since bragging rights are important, we will be tracking the number of kills you receive in duels to the death with a special cosmetic buff on your character called String of Ears, as you can see here. So trophies gathered as victories while dueling to the death. Each time you will win, you will receive one trophy. Anyone who clicks on your character will be able to see the amount of ears you've collected. There are some limitations to this. However, as you cannot earn the String of Ears buff before level 10, and you cannot earn the buff if you and your opponent are too many levels apart. All content phases available from the go. Hardcore realms will have all the original WoW content phases unlocked and available right at launch. One of the things we love about the hardcore mode of play is that endgame is not the focus, and most of the gameplay revolves around the journey, not the destination. This also makes hardcore gameplay evergreen. So yeah, basically they are saying that they don't want to push people to be in this situation where you feel forced to level as fast as possible to reach the current end game, to have an ability to play through, for example, Molten Core, and then be ready for the next update. And probably, to be honest, on hardcore there wouldn't be too many people progressing so fast as they are progressing on regular realms. Play nice, play fair gameplay, zone disruption, and malicious player killing outside of consensual PvP will not be tolerated on hardcore realms. By this we mean deliberate action to hamper or significantly impede the ability of other players to enjoy the game. So basically, griefing will be punished. That may not be the case as much as Blizzard want us to think it will, but it's still good that they're acknowledging it, and at least they are saying to people who want to disrupt the gameplay of others, don't do that, and we will try to punish it. On the flip side of this, report bombing or intentionally using the rule set against players to attempt to get their account auctioned will also be met with equally harsh penalties. Deaths can and will happen in normal gameplay, and retaliation or resorting to bullying, abuse, or malicious reporting for normal gameplay deaths are not appropriate. So yeah, basically that's quite logical. It's critical to health of these realms that players play nice and play fair with one another, which will probably never be the case to the full extent, but still it's pretty good that they're acknowledging it again. As with any new development, we'll be keeping a close eye on player behavior during the test phase and adjust as needed. We want WoW Classic Hardcore to be a fun and challenging experience for anyone who wants to jump into the action, and they want money from you to pay for subscription and to play their games, which is obvious. So yeah, this is your update on hardcore World of Warcraft official servers, coming currently in July. The update itself, whenever we are gonna see hardcore realms, is still up to debate. I guess PTR will be launching pretty soon, and then we'll see everything that comes around with it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time. Goodbye.